Sub-Saharan Power Summit. I'm Morten Hald from the Danish Trade Council in Pretoria, and I'm here with Imran Najeeb from MAN Energy Solutions. Welcome to Cape Town, Imran.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
How do you like it?
It's warm weather, but it's fine. Everything's going very good, and the summit is very organized, and I'm glad to be here.
Good to hear.
Yes.
You know, when I think MAN, and I think as a Danish guy, I think B&V, Bormeister and Wain, I think about big ship engines. But here we are at a conference where we talk solar, we talk renewable, we talk green. What happened to the ship engines? I guess they're still around.
Exactly, and that's that I can say that we have been in the business for 250 years. Actually, the whole invention started with 250 years ago, as I mentioned, and it was started by Rudolf Diesel, who was the ingenious inventor of the principle of diesel engine, and we are still doing the diesel cycle, you can say, but now we are facing more and more towards alternative fuels. And especially we have just launched our newest technology, which is the LPG. You can see back here. And it was launched back in 2018 this year in June. So we are still driving forward for the marine for the stationary engines, and that's totally the same like the marine engines.
And Rudolf Diesel was actually an employee of
exactly.
MAN. Yeah.
Yes, he was actually employed in MAN, or you can say he was one of the engineers in MAN at that time in 1858. So it's kind of history you have in our company.
And here we are more than 100 years later in Cape Town, and we're talking dual fuels and we're talking green energy. I wonder what Rudolf Diesel would have thought if he knew that. But anyway. Being sort of an old school engine manufacturer and coming from the diesel age, does that make you is it hard for you to remain relevant in a world that's going green?
It is actually absolutely beneficial for the communities, you can say, the governments today, and for the customer especially, that we are facing that we are having much more emission control worldwide, and we are actually facing to or focusing on having our emissions down below what we can the range which is down below the World Bank 2008. That is for the stationary side, and then you know about the IMO-tier laws, and we are more and more getting towards there to have our emissions controlled and down below.
So sustainability probably wasn't the term wasn't invented back then, but now it's very much in your DNA now.
Exactly. Sustainability is quite one of the focusing areas today's, as you could say, and we are focusing on our core technology. So our core technology is absolutely is a diesel cycle, but we are still moving towards to have the same technology as we have all the time. Yeah, you can say.
And increasingly, we're also seeing that the diesel cycle as a technology is now getting greener and greener, and with newer fuels. But we also see these what we call old engines that are now very, very modern. They integrate with renewable energy.
Yes, exactly, and we have our stationary engines are built like that. That we have WHR. We have waste heat recovery. Which can be combined with other technologies as steam turbines and waste heat recovery on several methods actually. So we can absolutely combine the cycle with other technologies.
And as well, we all know that the sun doesn't always shine and the wind doesn't always blow, so I guess there's a role there for baseload.
Yes, there's absolutely a role there for baseload, yeah, but we standard say that our stationary engines are always operated on fully load. That's 100% load, so we don't derate our engines at all. We always are at L1, which is the highest load on our engines. On stationaries.
Back to the core technology, you just recently announced a world premiere introduction of your two-stroke engine running on LPG. How is just maybe for the layman the sort of the difference in markets between the 2-stroke and the 4-stroke, and then also maybe add on what makes the access to using LPG, what makes it so relevant?
The most relevant thing about having LPG as a running gas as operation fuel is that we are having more efficiency on our engines with respect to that we have not that much CO2 yeah, you can say pollution, or you can say that emissions are much less. As I was showing just in the presentation this year, I was showing that if you are running on LPG, if you compare that with diesel engines on the heavy fuel oil, then you have absolutely the same curves. So you have the same power, yeah. You have the same heat release. So running on LPG is much more efficient, and is much more you can say that is almost the same as you're running on diesel.
And the price per kilowatt hour of energy generated, if you compare diesel with LPG, what's sort of the rule of thumb?
The rule of thumb is that the kilowatts hour price is much more higher on diesel, and it depends actually on the LPG. But I was also elaborating on that in the presentation, and that was. Today you see all the LPG, and you also see all the alternative fuels and heavy fuel oil, and the market is going up and down, yeah. But of course the customer wants the most cheapest solution, but the world is facing towards more emission controls and more efficient on the emissions. And that's I would say that it would be the most efficient and the most green fuel you would use today. So the price is a little bit more undermined today in respect to that.
And I guess looking at the African continent, we're obviously here today. I guess easy access to LPG is also a factor. I mean, everyone here. Well, a lot of people in Africa, they cook and heat, and they use a lot of LPG. That's got to be an advantage.
Yes, that's a big advantage, and that's why we are today we are seeing what approach we can do to the African continent, and we have of course look at the market and look at the region, and we can see that LPG is available everywhere in the African region, and the same issue you have, not issue, but the same thing you have going on in Asia. So we can see that LPG is much more available, and that makes us very a key user, you can say key supporter or supplier, yeah, of the engine, and that makes our company more strong, I can say.
Imran, you traveled almost 11,000 kilometers to be at the Sub-Saharan Power Summit for 3 days here in Cape Town. And other than enjoying the scenery, what is the goal? What do we expect to get out of this?
Yes, the goal is that our main objective to be in the summit, in this summit, 2018 Sub-Saharan Summit, is that we want to create more awareness of our 2-stroke BMW engine to the African region, and we want to see what is our technology is. Of course, you can say that our technology is already forefront in having engines running on alternative gas. And it is to represent our engines to the African region, and especially to Saharan Summit this year.
And when do you expect to get your first project?
Okay, that is a question that I can't answer you, but I will hope it's going to be tomorrow.
Well, good luck with it, but I'm sure one thing that you'll be asked when you meet people over coffee and over canapes is to basically do what is called an elevator pitch. So I'll give you 30 seconds to why should I go for a man 2-stroke engine compared to the competition.
I can say that the unique major selling points of our technology is that we have the most fuel efficient engines running on alternative fuels, and also that we have that good efficiency. That we can combine our technology with other technologies, with the steam turbines. You can have gas turbines. You can have TCS and everything on our engine. The next major unique, I can say, the beneficial thing about our engine is that we have low maintenance cost. So our engines can actually run for 30 years. and that can make actually a very good business case for the communities, and especially for the region in Africa, because as you can see, there is a lot of poverty in Africa in different regions, and people are unemployed, and if they are educated in maintaining and operating our engines, then you would create more jobs. And if our engines are running for 30 years, then you have employees for 30 years, and that's I think it's a very good thing. And the third thing I can say that is a major unique selling point for our technology is that we are very fuel flexible. As I mentioned before, that we can run on almost every fuel. You just give us this fuel spec, and then we would say if it's a yes or no. But in most of the cases, it's always a yes, that we can run on the fuel.
Imran, I think you spent a little more than 30 seconds, but it doesn't really matter because you got engines that will run at least for 30 years, and Rudolf Diesel, he came up with sort of the DNA of this technology more than 100 years ago. So we'll look forward to the next 100 years, and good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.